Okay, here we are, 3, 2, 1. Back to talk about self-remembering. It's not really a big deal. The problem is that there are no easy ways to map it out as something that you can reach if you turn right and go left, go up and down the stairs or whatever. Simply reflect back on yourself so you are, in effect, making yourself self-conscious. And after you do that, you recognize the self-consciousness you're in, you try to maintain it. As you try to maintain it, you become aware of your inhalations more than your exhalations. Your inhalations draw the breath into you and seem somehow to be kind of a physiological parallel to the whole process of maintaining self-consciousness. So this act of maintaining self-consciousness, at a certain point, you say to yourself, oh my God, it's actually something new, it's something different. I've never heard of this any other place, or I don't know anybody's ever talked to me about this before, period. When I, I'm wrong medium here. When I first attained a state of self-remembering, I was walking up Telegraph Avenue in Berkeley, having just bought the book and having read the section on self-remembering in Ouspensky's In Search of the Miraculous in the Shambhala bookstore, period. A very good place to come across a thing like that. It was the second thing that I had experienced there, period. Sorry. The other one was reading Beelzebub's Tales to his grandson, a 3-volume book by, a set of books by Gurdjieff himself. I happened to pick up the part that's supposed to make you lose whatever admiration you had for the Romans, period. And, sorry. I'm well aware of my admiration for the Romans, and when I read it through, within 5 minutes it just went away. I realized that it killed something, the last thing I had left about the Romans. So, back to Ouspensky, In Search of the Miraculous. It was the third time as I had run across this concept, period. The first time was in the book, The Master Game, a book I read in September of '72. It's good, but he really doesn't get it. The second time I don't remember, but I know it was the third time. Now, so you're self-remembering, but the self-remembering that really gets to it was when you start looking for those flaws. And I was aware of my flaws, but I wasn't aware of just how bad they were. And maybe some of them I wasn't even aware of, but my real problem is I just said, well, it's literally not that bad. You know, this is what's called a buffer. It stands in the way of you experiencing conscience, so you can know that you're just that off. So when I really got to the self-remembering heavily, I got all the way to hearing the voice of conscience going boo or yay. So every time I moved in a direction which I shouldn't have, that is, every time I was about to choose to take the Quaalude and have sex with my attractive girlfriend that needed to hear from me that I was no longer interested. I wasn't interested in her, that's the wrong word. I didn't love her. I had to break up with her. And when I would move in that direction, and it actually was like a wrestling within myself. When I did that, I would get the yay. And so finally, wrestled this thing out of me, what Gurdjieff would call false personality. And I ended up breaking off with her. And this process continued because, in fact, I was in the middle of the primal therapy goes just like what Carl Jung says. At a certain point, you've exhausted or made one half of the circle of everything people have done bad to me. I didn't realize that it was that bad and that it hurt me that much. And then comes the realization of what you are, maybe as a result of the occupation of yourself by this alien force which forced you to be this false person that said and agreed to things that you never would have said and agreed to if you had been allowed to be yourself. And when you're going through this experience of your bad side, spontaneously, as it were, having done the work to prime this reaction, if you then are in the mood, which you would be in, self-remembering intensifies the whole experience. So the whole point is to use self-remembering to attain real self-consciousness, to attain a real experience of conscience, out of which you can begin to disassemble your false personality and remain true to your essence, true to conscience. And then it gets more complicated than that, but that's where we're going to stop for right now.